Okay, good morning and good evening, Mr. X's class. We're here to talk about the word philosophy. In Spanish, filosofía. Notice that in Spanish you spell it with F. In English you spell the F sound with PH. And that's because it comes from Greek. Because in Greek there's a letter for F that kind of is like a PH, I think. Pretty sure that's why. But in English, when we take words from Greek, we use PH for F. Like pharmacy, same thing. We spell it with PH, and it makes an F sound. So that's something to notice, different spelling. Has two meanings. One is the study of the nature and meaning of the universe and of human life. So philosophy it's a subject that you can study in college. People have theories about the meaning of life, basically, or about the meaning of the universe. Or like ethics, what is it like making a system for how do you know what the right thing to do is? But make it like an organized system. You can prove what the right thing to do is. That's what they try to do. Or, a lot of times it is in some way the meaning of life. Like, for example, or people will talk about what is the world made of? Is there life after death? So it somewhat overlaps with religion, but it's trying to be more. Religion is, in religion you have ideas that come from sacred books. Philosophy is trying to be like all rational, and you look at the world the way the world is, and you say, because of the way the world is, we can prove this and this and this, and then they try to make arguments about the meaning of life. So, and there are some philosophers who are religious, and there's some who are not. So they can have different theories about it. But it's a rational, logical way of trying to say what life means or what the right thing to do is. So there's, like, for example, ethics. There's a theory that the right thing to do is whatever is, like, you look at how happy people are. If you have maximum happiness, then that's the right thing to do. But then you have problems like, if you make one person very happy and everyone else a little bit sad, is that good? Right? And people argue about stuff like that. So it gets complicated. Anyway, I'm kind of interested in this, so I'm going off a little bit. But the word philosophy means study of the meaning of life. So, for example, I study the meaning of life in philosophy class. Well, philosophy is the study of the meaning of life, basically. Definition 2 would be, like, for one, you could talk about a personal philosophy. Maybe you've heard that. That's a little different. This is more like talking about the whole universe, making theories about the whole universe. This is a set of beliefs or an attitude to life that guides someone's behavior. So this is kind of like values or ethics or that sort of thing for each person, or worldview for each person. So a set of beliefs or an attitude to life that guides someone's behavior. For example, we talk about teaching philosophy. When you graduate from teaching programs to be a teacher, you usually have to write your teaching philosophy. What are your beliefs about teaching, and why are you teaching? What do you think the purpose of teaching is, and that sort of thing. That would be your philosophy of teaching. So we could say different teachers have different philosophies of teaching. That can be plural because, like, as I say, different sets of beliefs. This one is usually not plural. That's usually uncountable, I'd say. It's because it's a subject. It's like, philosophy is a subject you can study. It's kind of like history, science. So, and word families, so filosofía in Spanish, word families, philosopher. What's that? Noun. Noun. And if you look at her, what does that tell us? What does it mean? The person who does philosophy. So a philosopher is a person who writes philosophy books, like this definition of philosophy. Theories about the meaning of life. Philosophical. Adjective. What ending tells us it's an adjective? A-L. A-L is an adjective ending. Yep. It's an adjective. Philosophical means in a way that's related to philosophy. You could say, or related to philosophy, sorry. So that's a philosophical book. It's a book about philosophy. Philosophize. Verb, right? Because what's the ending that tells you that? Ice. It's in Spanish, Isaac. also makes a verb. So philosophize means to write philosophy or to make arguments about philosophy, about this. How about philosophically?
Adverb.
Adverb, because it ends in what?
Ly.
Ly. And philosophically means in a philosophical way, in a way related to philosophy. You do something in a way that's related to philosophy. So synonyms: ideology, outlook, viewpoint, and I think you can add worldview. That's for definition 2. All of these are really synonyms for definition 2, I would say. Ideology is also a set of ideas that guide someone's behavior. That's also one of your Awod words, ideology. So if we say, what's the difference between ideology and philosophy? I think ideology is more, it's very structured, and it's often political, like communism, communist ideology. Like there's a set of ideas that if you're going to be a communist, you have to accept these ideas, and it's organized. So that's often used for politics. And philosophy is often more personal, and it's like what that person believes about something, about the meaning of life or the meaning of some action. Okay, and here's a sentence with philosophy over here. Characters and events in novels. Characters and events in novels can illustrate ideas about philosophy, definition 1. So, like our town, maybe you could talk about, that's showing that we need to appreciate every moment of our lives. That could be related to philosophy. The meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? That plays a lot of it's about the meaning of life. How do we know what the meaning of life is? The meaning of life is found in daily events that seem unimportant. That's a theme, a message about life. That could be related to philosophy because it's talking about the meaning of life. So that's an example of. That's not a novel, it's a play, but same thing. Novels also could illustrate ideas about philosophy. Are there questions about philosophy? All right, thank you, and thanks a lot for filming.